Hello guys, welcome back or welcome. It's Christian from Emotions in Wine. I hope you are having a great day. So today, after a few weeks ago, link below, the last part of the Croatia trip 2025, there was the chapter about Babić. So today we have the tasting of several Babić, 3 to be precise. So we sourced in the trip some of them, most of the wine is closed, etc. So we went to the shop, and that's why we did a small video there, and this is a follow-up. Pergin was the winery we visited quickly. There was a bit of comment. It is an interesting style of wine and older. That's why I also skipped the wine two reasons. So we saw already, and then it's older because here I keep a similar vintage. They are all 21 or 22. So Babić is the second most important grape in Croatia. Not known yet out is from North Dalmatia. Šibenik Knin is the county, wine region, and is quite extended. Babić is the key grape and is the only one made in Primošten area. Primošten is that nice small town with a peninsula not far from Šibenik. Only Babić cultivated there, and on the other coastal area near Šibenik, there is also Babić plus other grapes. While in the northern part near Knin, the wineries make several grapes, the whites, the reds, and no Babić there. So Babić is only on the coast. Has long history, centuries, but no one knows exactly. The sure thing is that Plavacmali and Babić are related. They are brothers, basically, because Dobricic is the parent grape of both of them. But they tend to be quite different. Babić is a bit more elegant, gentler, less tannic, even the color less intense than Plavacmali, usually ferny, so very dark. So they tend to be also more approachable in younger age, but of course still better if they can age longer. So we had 21 and 22. 22 is still a bit young, 21 start to be interesting, we will see. And we have 3 wineries, 1 symbol and 2 emerging, and from 2 areas. So these are from the Primošten side, while this one is from the Šibenik side. So we have Budimir Babić 21, 13 alcohol, Leo Gracin Babić 21, 14.5 alcohol, and Birin Babić 22, 13.5 alcohol. I put last because it's younger, a bit more tannic. So today is a different approach, less info, as I said already in that video. Even the websites, basically only Birin has, and not too many information. The others, Budimir, I cannot find anything at all. It was recommended from the shop as an emerging young guy, and Leo Gracin is the symbol there. He's an ethnologist, even teaching in university. In fact, Birin was his student, so he's the reference. But not that all the winery like we saw in South Dalmatia, because they started in 2000, him and the father, and 2006 was the first vintage they released. So it's just less than 20 years, 20 vintages. Anyway, more adventurous tasting today. I start to pour them. They are open a few hours, as usual, to breathe. I will do also next day tasting because I expect something more, especially from the 21. Also, the vintage was a bit less hot. So unfortunately, this region is still not that known. So Babić is still relatively unknown. It's also true there is not much production. There are only a couple of bigger wineries, more organized. All the others, these are super tiny. Leo Gracin is not that micro because he has few hectares, while the others are all about a couple of hectares. So he should have a bit of production. But as you can see, even from the images, the incredible, this is one site specific, the most historic that is under UNESCO listing in Budzavac locality, really close to Primošten. That is something incredible. You see bush, so alberello training, low plants on this peninsula, really on the sea. Of course, no altitude, is just maybe the top 50, 70 meters. But this characteristic place very special. Windy, dry, rocky, very little topsoil, is all karst soil basically, and is naturally yielding very little, these plants. Of course, there is not that plantation only, there are others, but even the climate, the terroir is giving little quantity. So even if they have more hectares, the production is still not that huge. Leo Gracin is the only one of these who has a piece of that plot. He has 1.3 hectares there, so I guess he's the biggest property owner. The dry walls that you've seen surrounding are something very characteristic. Seems they were made to delimitate the properties 100 years ago or something like that. So it's something very historical. Most of the vineyards there are very old. In other plantations, depends. So, of course, it's a renaissance. Remember, Croatia has only 30 plus years of independence and was communist before, so it's a long process. So, as I already said before, remember what is behind a bottle, a wine. That is really important. Of course, that spot is not representing everything, but the kind of terroir, dryness, rocky soils, that is characteristic. So is harsh. Only thing here, you don't have the slopes, because even the Šibenik side is low and smooth. There is not steep slope like in South Dalmatia. So let's start with Budimir. So apparently he's a young guy, even quite classic style, the bottle packaging. The color, they are all pretty much the same. Ruby, not too intense. A bit more intense Birin, the last one, maybe also because 1 year younger and different vintage, but can be also about the maceration. None of this information is available. Oak for all. Someone bigger cask, someone barrique. Leo Gracin for sure barrique. Should be all Slavonian cask, so Croatian oak. This is quite particular. Is even something like underspirit fruit, which for a relatively young wine is a bit surprised, because usually you have with the aging. Yeah, dark fruit, like plum. The spiciness is very little. I assume he is also doing bigger cask, but he's giving a touch. But so far it's mostly the fruit and this touch of spice. And something a bit ethereal, which lately I didn't find often. In this case I have it. So, interesting, not super elegant. In a way we can say a bit rustic. Very pleasant palate, honestly. In this moment I would say more interesting palate than nose. Nose is a bit limited and not that refined, while the palate is better also on that. Quite decent balance already, good freshness, the minerality, the tannin is very gentle, honestly, surprise. I guess he's not doing that long maceration also. You have the fruit, some spicy also, and it's more elegant on the palate. Very pleasant and already well in drinking window. Now is a couple of hours open the bottles. Yeah, for now it's not changing much, so it's a bit limited in the spectrum. So let's say a bit more straightforward, but very pleasant, especially on palate. On nose, missing something at the moment. I'm curious to see how it will show tomorrow. Actually, it's delicate on the palate, so it's really gentle, refreshing, perfect with the food, honestly. because can clean well and is very smooth. So very interesting, very interesting. Nice surprise so far. So Leo Gracin, as hinted, he is the symbol, one of the historical also relatively saying so. Few hectares, they use barrique, they make couple of wines only from Babić. This has much more in every bean. He is considered the best so far. I confirm that he's great. I tried not this vintage, I think before was a bit older. So here you have a lot of fruit, also more dark fruit, spiciness more remarkable. So he is making the wine from Buxavac, as mentioned, that crazy spot with the rocky vineyards, and from others. Mineral, quite evident. Can say that has a bit of earthy already starting, but really a hint. Is good complexity already showing both nose and also palate. Good elegance, quite balanced also this one here. Tannin quite gentle, very smooth also this one, and with more depth, more length, more characteristics. You have more spicy also on the palate, besides the fruit and the mineral and fresh. So it's a different level. The other is on similar style, but a bit more straightforward. This one has more. I think it will show more tomorrow. All wines that go well with beef, lamb, which are characteristic in Dalmatia, but some of these lighter versions can be already okay with some cold cuts and cheeses indeed. It's changing a bit already. Here I find something characteristic of Dalmatia, a hint of olives. Plavas has usually also some Mediterranean herbs. In this, I don't know. Let's see if will come out something. The olives is also something characteristic, so interesting. I get a hint. For these things, we'll see more tomorrow. Yeah, very refined on the palate, really. And honestly, drinking very well already. So these two are perfectly in drinking window. Very pleasant both. Gracin, a step up. So let's go for Birin, the third one. So the student of Gracin. Family has also long roots historically there, but the winery is recent. Even a bit more modern labeling, etc. Even if the bottle is the classic one, slim, tall, with a long neck. As said, the color is richer and showing a bit more youth. Here you have more dark fruits. He has the website, some info about the winery, but not much about the vinification, just that it's aging oak. So they are in Šibenik side, I said, near the coast. They have also the other grapes, but this is the key. And there they have a bit different. It's not just rocky karst like in Primorsten area, but it's also a bit of terra rossa, so red soil on top. So limestone still below. Usually is giving a bit different character. So he has a mix of the two for the production of the Babić. Also this a bit more straightforward, so fruit, touch of spicy, quite elegant, not that complex so far at least, but quite delicate. More tannic here. Is younger, indeed. So here, the others you can sip themselves pretty well. This better food. You can, but you feel a bit more the tannic structure. So even that, Gracin is 14.5 alcohol, but you don't feel at all. It's very gentle in everything, even the body. While here is 13.5, but you have more tannic structure, so the body is a bit more evident. Some sweet spice, I would say now. Of course, this one will show less because it's just 3 years old. So for sure, may need more years to show more complexity. But so far, it's very pleasant. So they are showing well all. Quite different. These two more similar in a way. This is a bit different even if you studied from Gracin, but that doesn't mean it's also the terroir. That is the key factor, first of all. And then 1 year younger also contributes. Has a good depth, drying up well with this tannin. Good freshness. Less mineral than the others, probably because of Terra Rossa. And perfect for the food for sure because it's cleaning very well. So very pleasant so far, but a bit shyer than the others. Younger, a bit more tannic, so showing a bit less in general. But we will see more in the next phase. Here we are back. So in this kind of video where I have little info, so I need much more to interpret the wines. To do in 2 days is very important to analyze more because yesterday night I could, and then I saw the change quite a bit actually already, which is interesting because they are still relatively young. But even the Budimir, let's say the straightforward, change quite a bit. So as first impression, first and third, so Budimir and Birin, bigger oak, not that influencing, more oakiness, more spiciness from the oak for Gracin. Of course, give more complexity, but you need to be able to, because that is the secret of oak. So how to balance it, and he's doing very well. Though the others have less influence, which is good in a way. And this one changed also to olives, like Gracin was showing already yesterday. A bit more that underspirit fruit, more evident today is particular, and also touch of herbs. So even this one has a nice complexity overall and is cleaner. So the first moment there was a bit that rustic. That can be also related to the oak, but then now it's cleaner, a bit more elegant, and with a good complexity. Still predominantly on the fruits, but a bit of these other characteristics. So very nice with the food. Yesterday was a perfect match, very refreshing. Also, this one has a good depth, so it's a nice version, a bit lighter in every aspect. Alcohol also, and super value for money. This I paid 13 or 14 euros. So Leo Gracin, he changed much more. So the olives already before and a bit of earthy, much more. There is less fruit now. Even yesterday night was moving, but now less fruit, more some tertiary like earthy and more spiciness. Even here some herbs, but here is more spicy also. That probably cover other things. Anyway, good complexity. Is a great wine actually, but this has a different price. This is about 30 euros. Still nice fruit and minerality now, but then all these other secondary and tertiary notes. So great complexity and very refined and gentle overall. Has a bit more than the other in depth, in length, in structure, but you don't feel 14.5. So it's a great wine, For sure, one of the most elegant red wines from Croatia I tried so far. So Birin, the toughest because it's younger, more tannic, was a bit shyer, let's see. It changed a bit yesterday night and also now I see, but not that much. So here is more need of aging. Tannic structure is still quite evident. So it just starting drinking window. So still the fruits, the touch of spiciness, but there is something more. Maybe olives also here. Yeah, it's young, it's young. In the end, this is the less complex. For sure, the Terra Rosa give a bit of different style compared to the other two, even if it's only a part of the vineyards, but that has an influence, indeed. So this needs more time. Price, great also here. We're talking about 17 euros. So first and third are very worth. Gracin is already a serious wine with a serious price. So great tasting. I hope you enjoyed. You can discover, of course, only Gracin you can find a bit more. The others only if you are in Dalmatia, even in Zagreb, maybe it's not easy to find them. But something interesting, different, and to give you a close-up of that chapter of the trip with a bit more picture of the wines. Like, subscribe, comment, please. Support us as much as possible to let us grow. Thank you and see you next time. Salute.